So pray for the correct hires.
Right.
I don't want to do what God wants. Hey, good morning, Michiana, and get inspired. I'm Diane Bennett with Inspired Homes in both Michigan and Indiana, and you are watching Life Inspired live on YouTube, live on Facebook. And if you ever want to go watch the back history, we've been doing it since October of 2017 on inspiredhomes.com. You can see all the old backstories of Life Inspired, which is a story about life was going along. There was a ... moment when God changed your path, kind of a and then God time, and he changed your path and you're walking a new direction, and now you're walking an inspired life. And Tammy Weisweaver is in the house on the red couch to tell us how God turned your direction from one career to another.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what's your backstory? Tell us before.
Sure.
Don't tell me the ... part until you say a little bit about what you were doing before.
I'm ready. So, I decided to go to school to be a kindergarten teacher. I felt like that was something that I could get all A's. I was very a perfectionist, and I had to have that 4.0, and I wanted everyone's approval, needed my family to think that teaching was good, or, that what I was going to do was good, but also society. And so I had other interests and I had other ideas, but they didn't pass the filter of, will everyone approve of this?
Wow.
Or will I get all A's in that? So, because it was like, be a doctor, be a fitness instructor, be a teacher. So there you have it. So I went to school to be a teacher, and honestly, I was a really great teacher, and I really enjoyed lots of parts of it for a time.
But because it wasn't a passion, it wasn't filling you up.
Well, and so what ended up happening, I bartered with myself. I made a deal with myself that I could teach children during the year, but I would be a fitness instructor in the summer.
Okay.
That was kind of my way of like placating myself. Here you go, Tammy, you can do that. And it's so cool though when I look back at my history. I worked at my high school fitness center. I mean, I got up at 4 a.m. in high school to go work there in the mornings.
Wow.
I worked at my college fitness center. I taught my first fitness class while I was in college, got my my first certification for that. But I also really lacked the confidence. I didn't know the Lord back then either.
Okay.
I didn't know him. He was not my guiding light by any means. It was really what do other people think, and also really not knowing my worth or my value. Teaching made me feel good about me.
Okay.
It made me feel good about me as well, and I needed that.
So, and then God steps in and does something. How did you hear him? What was that about?
So it was multiple years of a journey of meeting the Lord, and then years of learning like who he really is, his character, and what he says about his children, what he says about me. I could believe what he says about you, but I wasn't really wanting to believe it for me for a while. Mm-hmm. And so there were some things that happened that were just some key signals to me, one of which was, here I am, this healthy person, I'm eating well, I exercise, but yet I was sick all the time. But I noticed that I would wake up and I would have these horrible stomach pains and this horrible headache, and it was real. These symptoms were real. And I would have to call my principal. If you needed a sub, you had to call the principal at home. It was horrible, but that was what you had to do. So I would call the principal, let her know I couldn't come in, get all my sub plans together, and then guess what?
You'd feel better.
I would literally feel better, and I could go work out and just feel amazing. And so I just started asking the Lord, like, okay, I know my work ethic. I know that I don't take off work unless I absolutely am dying. What's going on here? And he helped me to see that was my body like taking that stress of really not wanting to be there. I mean, it was causing those symptoms because I was like trying to force a square peg into a round hole. And he really set me free. And the way that he set me free, the biggest freedom was after school one day, I went to work out. It was toward the end of the school year, and the whole class had left. It was a fitness class. The whole class had left. I was the last one there. And I just started sobbing, just bawling, God, take this love for fitness away from me. I don't have to love it as much. You made me. You can change me. Take it away from me, and I'll let it go. I'm sorry that I love it so much. And what I heard, that was one of the first times I really felt like I heard the audible voice of God. And he said, who I made you is good. Be who I made you.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. And I was like, you mean working out's enough? And he was like, yes, be who I made you. Now, I didn't have the vision. I didn't know what was to come. I didn't know that I would now be, I had this limited belief that the only way I can impact this world for the kingdom is to instill, goodness and love into these young children's hearts. But now I work with thousands and thousands of women who are mamas, who have all these children and beyond. I mean, it's been so beautiful. And, one thing I just love about God that I've seen through this is that he knows that, like, if he were to show that whole picture at once, that would have overwhelmed me. That would have scared me, and I might not have stepped out, right? But it was just him saying, just be you, take the next step. Yeah. So
I just have to interject. I know a young woman who thinks her sister's all that. And she's got this, and she graduated college, and she has the boyfriend, and she has the dream job. And I'm like, wait a minute, dream job? Yeah, her job is a dream job for her. You would hate that job. That would not be a good job for you. So if we're talking careers, I know this young woman needs to do something else. And what she's doing right now is very her, and she's blessing people, and she has staff underneath her that she's leading. She's 20 years old, and she's leading other young women. And it's awesome.
That is awesome. Well, and I will say that when we go to make a change, not only do we have our own fears, but there will be people, parents were requesting me to teach their children, and the principal, I tried to quit 3 years in a row and got talked out of it. I mean, it was just, you can't leave.
Right.
Well, these were people that I loved and I cared about and I respected. And when I went to say, I'm going to leave, I'm going to go do this, they would say, how can helping women with their flabby arms be, what are you going to do? That's not going to fulfill you. But they were putting their own belief and putting that onto me. And I do know that happens to a lot of other people when, any type of change, whether it's a career change or moving change, or just a lot of times other people want us to stay the same because that's comfortable to them, or they think that's best for us. But the truth is, God knows what's best for us, and we can go to him and we can join with him, and he will never lead us astray.
That's so awesome. So he turned your direction.
Correct.
I want to hear some more about the whole hearing his voice thing, but what's the new direction? What's your inspired life? Tell us about Be Present.
So it looked like me leading fitness classes out of my basement for a Bible study that then turned into people from outside of the church saying, when can we work out with you? I don't go to your church, but I'm hearing about these great workouts. I'd love to come. So it was like, really? The basement of my home, people are going to come? So I was okay, sure. We started inviting people, and it literally blew up overnight. No advertising, no sign, basement of my home in a neighborhood in Granger, word of mouth, full classes, wait lists. I went from teaching 1 class a week to 10 classes a week in 3 months. I mean, it was just nuts. And then we got kicked out. So we're not out of the neighborhood, but our business got kicked out. Yeah, the neighborhood,
because
there are covenants. We don't want,
you can't have all these
a million
cars.
people parking everywhere. And I get it. So that was another crossroads, and it was, okay, Lord, was that just fun for now while it lasted? Or, are we really doing this? And we are going to have rent and lawyers and accountants and all of that. That's heavy. That's a lot. But I just knew. I asked him, and it was if you don't do it, you're always going to wonder what if. And what are you going to do instead? This is your dream.
Right.
This is your dream.
Well, I also love that you and your hubby prayed about things, and God put you in alignment, that you were in agreement. Because I feel like if a couple's deciding whether or not to buy a house, or whether or not to have a baby, or whether or not to open a business or whatever, if there's not agreement, I think God's having you wait.
You're exactly right.
Just wait. But God put you in agreement, and you knew with both of you on board, you went that way.
Definitely. And so since then, it has been, we started with one studio location in Granger. We have one location, but we have more than doubled in size. We've taken over we almost might want to just have that whole plaza someday, but we'll talk about that later. But my husband has since quit his full-time job to Be Present full-time, and now we have another location in Fishers, and we lead wellness retreats, and we have wellness coaching, and I even get to work with kids. I did a fun Fit Minis little summer camp this summer, and it was like, this is it. Now I'm working with these children, but movement. We're getting to do what I love to do with them. So it has just
and then
been
besides
such a
teaching the
blessing.
classes, now you're teaching the teachers as well, right?
Exactly, yeah. We have a team of, I don't even know right now how many bartenders we have. We call them bartenders. 32 women, I think, or more.
In the 2 locations,
correct.
32 together.
Yeah, so we're, I'm always growing as a leader and training. And another thing that we're working on is perhaps having a teacher training program where we can train instructors that then teach other places. I've had a lot of requests. So far, I've only trained people to teach at Be Present. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I've wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the Lord's been kind of giving me a few nudges, like, helping me see through some of my limiting beliefs. So, yeah.
Okay, so you talked about he's giving you nudges. You talked about I heard his audible voice.
Right.
What is that? Because people, so every person connects with God differently.
Correct.
Just like your thumbprint is different.
Yes. Yes.
So, but some thumbprints look like other thumbprints. So there's other people out there that might hear from God the same way you do. So how do you hear from God? How do you know that he's nudging you?
Correct. Few different ways, few different things. So one thing I love is journaling. Journaling to me, that written word, and like I will ask him questions. So I have this interactive journal that I've been doing now for a while that has been truly life-changing in being able to hear him and really being led by peace like throughout the day. And so that's one way is it's a stillness, although I've done it in a busy airport, so it's not like you're always just in your own quiet room. It doesn't always happen that way.
But you're still just talking
but
you
just
and God.
Talking him, writing and talking with him. And then also, I would say for me, getting out in nature, like walking out among, find a country road, for me, that is a place where I often will hear from God too. And so if there's anything that these voices, we have our own voices, so if it doesn't line up with what the word says, then I know it's not him. And so knowing the word is another way, reading the Bible, knowing the word. I love listening to sermons on, podcasts. I mean, there are just so many resources available that we can be getting truth that help us then to discern, is this the voice of God? Or is this really...
Or is it me or the voice of the world?
Right, yeah.
Right, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, so we have a lot of viewers that would probably love to meet you, talk to you, ask you questions about maybe career changes for themselves or maybe questions about their own fitness. Can we just get them to message us here? And
and I'm on Facebook. You can find me. I have a public page, Tammy Weisweaver, and a personal page. You can find me on there as well. So,
So if you guys know anybody that would like to, share this story because they need to hear Tammy's story. Maybe you have a friend that's struggling. They're in a career that's not the right career for them. They don't like it or whatever. Share Tammy's story with them. Yeah. Or if they want to talk about fitness, maybe they want to get into the fitness line of work, or if they just want to talk about, what's it like to follow God, and I want to hear more about that. You hear his audible voice. What does that mean exactly?
Right.
So message us here. We'll put you in touch with Tammy.
Wow.
And if you know somebody else that has a turning point story, God intervened in their life and they are, or maybe they're not even turned yet. Maybe you know someone that's struggling. I was going to say the ones that have turned, we want to tell their story. But if you know someone that's struggling, have them message us too. We really appreciate your views every week. Now that we're on YouTube, we really need you to like our YouTube page and follow that. And do like our Inspired Homes page and follow that for us too. And you can like the Be Present page. That'll help.
We give inspiration all the time. And honestly, I would say that if you are in a place where you're feeling overwhelmed or there's something that you can tell that it's off, whether it's in a relationship or with a career, we can over magnify as humans. I know that we can tend to think so big and that can weigh us down and we feel overwhelmed. Just the one next step, one prayer, one walk, it is literally one step at a time is how we get anywhere. And God meets you in those steps.
Amen. Very cool. Thank you guys for watching. Y'all have a great weekend. Oh, I got to tell you, thank you so much to Daryl Buchanan. Our out music, our exit music is Daryl Buchanan.
Oh,
so
fun.
We have Jesus. And thank you so much, Daryl Buchanan. You guys can get a copy of that at darylbuchanan.net, I think, and also on iTunes. So thanks, Daryl. Y'all have a great weekend. Bye.
Yes, we have Jesus from a spirit in heaven. We have Jesus. We want give you all